This is Nightline.
Tonight, as the death toll climbs in the wake of the Texas flood tragedy, growing questions about the area's emergency alert system.
With all due respect, sir, I think that the community here is asking these questions. What happened?
What we're learning tonight. Plus, after Ozempic, why some GLP-1 patients struggle keeping the weight off after coming off the medication.
I started to eat a lot. I gained like 10 pounds.
Stars like Oprah and Kathy Bates opening up about their GLP-1 use. And Real Housewife Dolores Catania.
Scumbag, welcome back, scumbag.
Back on the so-called skinny shot she thinks she'll be on for life.
I don't want people to have unrealistic expectations.
And the unexpected lengths some have to go to after losing the weight. And Louis Capaldi, the singer with hits like Someone You Love.
I was getting kinda used to being someone you love.
Opening up about his onstage struggle with Tourette's at Glastonbury in 2023. And those emotional moments when the crowd helped him finish his song.
Oh, it was horrible. I hated it. It was like the worst day of my life.
Making his triumphant return to that stage. And how he's managed the diagnosis that's kept him out of the spotlight. Plus, the royal banquet tonight at Windsor Castle. What the Princess of Wales wore today to honor Princess Diana.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. According to records newly obtained by ABC News, just 2 days before devastating floods claimed at least 27 lives at Camp Mystic, the Texas Department of State Health Services signed off on the youth camp's emergency plan. This says the scope of the tragedy continues to grow, with more than 170 people still missing and at least 110 confirmed dead, and mounting questions about the emergency alerts that some say never came. Here's ABC's Matt Gutman.
Tonight, with the death toll soaring, so is frustration over the handling of local emergency alert systems in the hours after a surging Guadalupe River made it clear a catastrophe was at hand.
With all due respect, sir, I think that the community here is asking these questions. What happened? When did it happen? Was the emergency manager awake at the time? Did they push the button to issue an emergency alert?
Sir, it's not that easy when you just push a button, okay? There's a lot more to that. And we've told you several times.
I understand. So did it happen, sir?
I can't tell you at this time.
This area is one of the most flash flood prone regions in the country. Nicknamed Flash Flood Alley, ABC News and our own stations learning local leaders spent years discussing a life-saving warning system, but never implemented one. Public meeting records show that as early as August 2016, the city of Kerrville spoke about the importance of a warning system, and by April, a local river authorities board unanimously authorized a contract worth up to $73,000 to develop a system. The status of that contract is unclear. And that is the strategy chosen by Kerrville's neighboring town of Comfort, Texas.
Every day at noon, that siren goes off, alerting people that the system is working. Now, if there were a flash flood here, that siren would sound steadily for 3 minutes straight.
Firefighter Danny Morales, who lost his grandfather in those same floodwaters in 1978, has spent the past several years working to get a new system installed, completed just months ago.
So you've been through these floods, and your job is to try to prevent people from experiencing what you had to go through.
I would hope so.
Our thanks to Matt. We will, of course, continue to follow this story on all ABC News platforms. We turn now to Real Housewife Dolores Catania, honest since the beginning about her using GLP-1 medications on her weight loss journey, now spilling the tea on what happened when she went full stop, why she decided to go back, and the hard lessons she says she learned along the way. Here's my Nightline co-anchor, Juju Chang.
So we have our meats,
Yep.
salad, tomatoes. That's enough.
That's
That'll
beautiful.
last us days.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's streamlined.
And then a lot of vegetables.
There's
and
the
things.
medication. That's hilarious. I didn't even think about that.
That is a supply that you wish you had. Let me
That's
tell you.
amazing.
It's a peek inside Dolores Catania's not-so-secret weight loss journey. The Real Housewives of New Jersey star.
You're a crazy scumbag. 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 Welcome back, scumbag.
Always keeping it unapologetically real. Causing a social media stir in 2023 after candidly sharing her experience with GLP-1s on Watch What Happens Live.
How long have you been on the Ozempic? 6 weeks.
I didn't know everyone was lying about it and not telling the truth, and I got really hammered by it. There was such shame in taking this in the beginning. Such shame. I just felt amazing. I had lost, like, I want to say 10 pounds right away, not even noticing, didn't expect to lose weight.
Did you do this or did he do this? Over time, she lost 30 pounds on the weight loss drugs. Dolores invited us into her New Jersey home, which she shares with her boyfriend, Polly Connell. Dolores says they took the shots together.
Paul Connell. He's on Monjuro. He loves it. He lost 50 pounds.
No way. And changed their eating habits.
We use this kitchen a lot more now. We used to go out to eat a lot, and much more healthier lifestyle. Cooking at home is the healthiest choices.
Now, in a post-Ozempic world, comes a serious look at the realities of life after GLP-1. After hitting a wall with her weight loss, Dolores says she stopped GLP-1s altogether, but that came with some extra baggage.
I recently felt like it kind of like I hit a plateau. And I said, well, I'm not losing any more weight. What's going on?
So
cold turkey went off it.
What happened when you cold turkeyed?
I started to eat a lot. There wasn't that little signal. I call it the angel and the devil on your shoulder, because it wasn't that little angel on my shoulder saying you're full. You could stop eating now. I gained like 10 pounds. So in that time, I realized that I think my relationship with food needs a lot more than this miracle drug.
Dolores says she started her GLP-1 journey on Ozempic, but eventually switched to Mounjaro, a different brand covered by her insurance. That journey, now one she expects to be on forever.
I think it's so important for me to be transparent about what I take, what I do, what I've done, because I don't want people to have unrealistic expectations of what someone should look like.
In less than a decade, the class of drugs commonly known as GLP-1s revolutionizing the beauty and wellness industries. GLP-1 medications like Ozempic and Mounjaro have skyrocketed in popularity.
They were first FDA approved, of course, just for diabetes, but we realized that they could safely be used for weight loss.
The newer brands like Wegovy and Zepbound are prescribed specifically for weight loss. Celebrities like Oprah openly discussing her GLP-1 journey on her podcast.
All these years, I thought that thin people, those people, had more willpower, they ate better foods. And then I realized the very first time I took the GLP-1 that, they're not even thinking about it.
Kathy Bates telling People magazine Ozempic helped her lose the last 20 pounds of her 100-pound weight loss.
When Ozempic came out, I thought, okay, and I went to my doctor. She said, let's give this a go.
With millions of Americans now on GLP-1s, doctors and patients alike are taking a serious look at the long-term effects for some.
I started treatment with 170 pounds, and now I'm 118. Whatever you think we can do to make it better.
Jessica says she's still taking a GLP-1 to maintain the progress she's made after a lifetime of food issues. But for her, loose skin became a new hurdle.
Once I lost weight and I started noticing a little, the face is a little different. I lost a lot of weight in my face.
With more than 50 pounds lost, Jessica says she saw considerable volume loss in her face.
I don't think I feel good. I think my skin or my face is a little, feel a little melting. I want to do fillers. I want to do a little Botox.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Jessica. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Pleasure. We do see dramatic hollowness of this area in the middle of the face, in the temple, in the forehead, also on the lateral face along the jawline. We see flattening and lowering of the brow as patients lose the volume in their foreheads.
I'm 38, and then I felt, okay, so now maybe that's the time for me to start feeling better, why not? Some people say, maybe you're a little too skinny, but I'm feeling good. And this is what really matters for me.
And 62% of GLP-1 patients identifying saggy skin as their top post-weight loss concern, specifically around the face and neck. Jessica's looking to injectable facial fillers to restore lost volume.
I think everything has a limit. For weight loss or for changing your face, you have to feel good, but you also have to learn when it's time to stop.
Dolores says she didn't experience any facial hollowing.
I didn't get that, but I had a facelift, so.
This is why we love you, Dolores. Because you're real. And you share things like your weight loss yo-yo journey.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, that's
your
been
cosmetic surgery.
It's true, I do share that. I'm so grateful to the people that watch the show who make us who we are and make it the success that it is. They deserve the truth from me.
After stopping GLPs for 3 months and regaining weight, Dolores is back on the medication. She says she's already down 10 pounds once again.
So when I prescribe the medication, I always tell patients this is just a small part of your treatment. So it is so important to still, talk about the strength training, to talk about the aerobic exercise, to make sure patients are having the right macronutrients.
Doctors say when taking a GLP-1, side effects are to be expected. The NIH reporting nearly 80% of patients experience some form of gastrointestinal disturbance.
So when patients take their first injection, sometimes we see constipation, nausea, burping, reflux.
I know that when the GLP-1 nausea kicked in, that meant I had eaten too much. So now I finally learned how to eat.
Masterfully balancing truth and deception, Dolores winning more than $50,000 on the hit competitive murder mystery game show, The Traitors.
I am the faithful.
She says she left the castle with cash and a tighter waistline from healthy food.
When I went to Traitors, I was in Scotland for over a month. I came back the healthiest, the happiest. I was the thinnest. I did bring my GLP-1 there, but the food was so clean. I really believe that what we put into our bodies is much scarier than what we're taking in a GLP-1.
Do you worry that therefore you have to be on these medications for the rest of your life?
I'm not worried because I'm not against them. I want to take it forever. If I couldn't take it forever, at least I know now I'm more educated in the things that I don't need in my body, all the sugar.
I mean, because there are some people who think like, I'm not injecting something in my body. You never know what the long-term, impact might be. What do you say?
Well, I say this has been around long enough for them to know. I believe that's what I've been told by very credible doctors. You just, at this point, you just have to go with what you feel is good for you.
Our thanks to Juju. Up next, singer Louis Capaldi, known for hits like Someone You Love, on why he says he was afraid he'd never be able to sing live again. Welcome back. Louis Capaldi was singing his mammoth hit Someone You Loved in front of more than 200,000 people in 2023 when the unthinkable happened. The singer calls his return to that same stage this year a full circle moment. He sat down with ABC's Stephanie Ramos.
Louis, it is so nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
It is so nice to hear some of your new music, like Survive. Your new single, Survive, is a brave anthem that addresses your condition with Tourette's.
Yes, I'm a very brave boy.
I'm gonna get up and try.
So how has the song helped you return to music after a 2-year break?
A lot of my music is a bit woe is me and a bit boo-hoo and sad. So I wanted to have something that was a bit more triumphant than my previous offerings.
Let's go back a little bit to Glastonbury in 2023. There was a moment where you were struggling emotionally to get through a song on stage, but your fans, they helped you cross that finish line. Walk us through that. What was that moment like for you?
Oh, it was horrible. I hated it. It was like the worst day of my life. Yeah, everyone always says to me, like, oh, that must have been so beautiful and lovely. And I was like, no, I was like, get me off stage at once. This is a horrific experience.
And you were there 2 weeks ago. Performing Survive. How was it to be back on that same stage and performing this brave anthem?
Yeah, it felt really special and just like a whole sort of full circle moment. I always wanted to, when I sort of got to the point where I was like, oh, I can come back and perform again, I knew I wanted to do it at Glastonbury to sort of, as almost like a mental little thing for myself that I could overcome the thing that I wanted to finish what I couldn't finish the first time around.
So let's go back a little bit. So your star is rising. You're starting to feel these tics on stage. What were you thinking was going on?
I thought I was dying. I thought I was something wrong with me. I had some degenerative disease. Months and months and months, like 6 to 9 months or something, of going to doctors and trying to get an answer. And I went to this neurologist who told me that I had Tourette's, or that they thought that I had Tourette's. And then all the sort of stuff that had happened in growing up, a lot of stuff started to make sense. Like all these little things I used to do when I was younger, like blink really hard, or like cough, or make noises, or like clench my fists or whatever. It all started to, those were like tics that I didn't realise were tics at the time. It was nice to get some clarity, and it sort of put me at ease a bit. So
when did you realise that you needed to take a break and focus on yourself?
On stage at Glastonbury was...
In 2023?
In 2023 was the moment where I was like, I need to stop here.
Did you think that was the end of your music career?
Yeah, well, at least from a live perspective. I still need to put on music because I can't do anything else. When I came off stage at Glastonbury in 2023, I actually felt really like calm and chilled and at peace, because I was like, oh, I don't have to do this anymore.
In the Netflix documentary, you mentioned that you felt like an imposter
Yes.
for many years, even receiving a note from Elton John.
You write beautiful songs that resonate with millions of people. You are great live and a wonderful singer. You are also very funny and original. I mean this sincerely.
Do you still feel that way all these years later?
I don't think that ever goes away. I think it's one of those things, as every person I speak to in music is like that, though, that even...
There's that little bit of doubt.
Yeah. I don't think it'll ever go away, no matter how many notes from Elton John I receive.
Your debut album, Divinely Uninspired to a Hellish Extent, was the biggest-selling UK album of 2019 and 2020 and won the Brit Award for Best New Artist, and you've had 2 Grammy nominations. So what is something that you're looking forward to with this next album?
Losing my 3rd Grammy is a big goal of mine. Looking forward to that in a big way. But this time around, the accomplishment is getting back and playing and doing stuff and being out here. I feel like the last 2 years I've really realised how much I missed performing and doing music. This is all I've ever done.
And you're doing it from a more stable place. You're mentally healthy.
Yeah.
You're stronger.
Yeah.
And you're teaming up with BetterHelp. Is that right?
Yeah, so BetterHelp and I are offering 734,000 free hours of therapy to people out there, because it's like 1,000 hours for every single day that I took a break. Therapy was like a really big thing for me over the last 2 years. It's really helped me get back to where I want to be and get back to like a steady place. And
Absolutely, and it's tremendous. Thank you so much for sharing your story, sharing your struggles, and sharing your time with us.
Honestly, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Our thanks to Stephanie. When we come back, tonight's banquet at Windsor Castle and the famous faces in attendance. And finally tonight, a soiree fit for royalty. Rock and roll royalty Mick Jagger and Elton John guest at Windsor Castle as the British royal family hosted French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte for a banquet. But the fashion world was buzzing when earlier in the day, the Princess of Wales donned Christian Dior for the first time, seen by many as a homage to French fashion. The princess also honoring the late Princess Diana by wearing a pair of her earrings. And that's Nightline for this evening. Catch our full episodes on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+. We'll see you right back here same time tomorrow. Thanks for the company, America. Good night.